Creeper. Hi guys, it is Jessie and Stacey with Chapter Chicks, and we are here to talk about the Host movie.
This is the beginning of a love story. And that might not seem like a big deal, except for one thing. This is the future, and humanity is all but extinct. We have been invaded by another species who erase our minds to take our bodies. But there are a few of us left who still fight back.
We finally watched it last night. We didn't end up to go see it in the movie theater because we worked. Yep. But we watched it on demand last night, so now we saw it. And we are here to tell you our opinions about it, because that's what we do on Chapter Chicks.
Somebody's really excited today. Let's start off with story.
I felt like they did the story justice because the book is so big, and I felt like they got the main stuff in there. But even though it was still a 2-hour-long movie, I don't feel like it was possible for them to get all of it in there.
My thoughts on the plot is that they did it okay. There was one scene in particular towards the end, a moment between two characters that I thought was crucial in the book, or in the story, and it wasn't there, and I was disappointed about that. Kind of like the same way repeated it hurt his leg, or Katniss wasn't bouncing on the doors.
My favorite part of the Hunger Games.
Yeah, it was like a key piece that was missing. Like there's other parts of the story I felt like didn't really need to be in there. Like Walter, I think his name wasn't in there, so that didn't bother me. But I just felt like that was a key piece. But overall, I think they did a very good job considering that the dialogue between Melanie and Wanda, it would be very difficult to do.
And so it's about 90% of the book.
Yes, so I think they did an okay job with that.
I also don't really remember too much of the book.
It's my favorite
very
book.
long time since I've read it, and I only read it once or twice.
Okay, let's move on to the setting, the look of the movie.
I thought they did a very good job with the way the movie looked. First of all, the Seekers looked totally boss with their silver shiny cars. I love the silver shiny cars, the silver shiny helicopters. I love that. And then I felt like I was really worried about them doing the caves because in the movie it's all pitch black. You can't see a thing, and it's just supposed to be this carved out home inside this mountain. And I felt like, even though I think it was a little bit better than it would actually be in the situation, like they had like pretty doors and like beds carved out and stuff. It was very like nice.
It was a little too nicely cut out of the door.
But I feel like they did a really good job making the scene and making the setting, and I felt like the directing was done very well, like the video quality.
I thought the wheat field looked exactly like I pictured it. Like Jessie said, there was too little bit of a polished look to the stones and stuff like that. And for some reason, I didn't picture Ian's room like up on rock steps like it was. Like I all thought it was just one
giant
hallway.
That's what I thought too. He kind of had his own little apartment.
Yeah, and it was like separate from the rest of them, which was weird. But overall, I enjoyed the whole look of the whole movie. Next, we're going to be moving on to the actors and the acting.
First, let's talk about the main character, Saoirse Ronan.
Is Melanie in there?
But I think it's like pronounced like Sonia or something like that. I don't know.
Whatever, that's her name though.
Okay.
She played Melanie and Wanda, the main characters.
I thought, well, first of all, when I heard that she got Melanie, I was a little apprehensive about the way that she looked. Like I didn't picture Melanie looking like that because I've always thought of her as a blonde. Because I think in every movie I've ever seen her, she's been a blonde. Yeah. So I didn't think she really looked like Melanie, but I was really excited because I do like her acting and I think she's a really good actress. However, she did good. I do think she did well, but I didn't feel too much distinction between Wanda and Melanie the way I should have. I mean, they're two completely different characters, and I didn't really feel like that there was a difference. I think she did really good with Wanda, which is the majority of the movie, who she is, because she was supposed to be very computerized and stuff like that. But Melanie, I feel like, lacked emotions when she was doing Melanie.
I feel the same way. I feel like she did Wanda perfectly. She was very, like, her posture was always perfect. She was very, enunciated all of her words as someone would who was new to the language. And I felt like she did Wanda very well. but I always imagined Melanie with more spirit.
Yeah.
And just like more alive, because it was supposed to be the big difference was Wanda was this human, had all these, or Melanie was this human and had all these emotions and
strong emotions.
Wanda was this just like sort of blank but learning the emotions kind of thing. And I don't feel like she did Melanie as good as she could have, but I still think that she did a good job.
My particular scene that I'm thinking of when I'm talking about this is the scene on the couch between her and Jared. Like when they're talking about this might be their last moments together, and it felt like a little stiff, that whole conversation. Like you didn't feel like they were that much.
But when she was playing Wanda and Melanie would come out, like when she would be like, Jared! And like I felt like she was that good. But when she let Melanie like take over completely, I don't think she did a very good job.
Also with Melanie, the voiceovers I thought could have been done better. They were still very well, but it's like Melanie is from the South. She's supposed to have a Southern accent, and I feel like sometimes the Southern accent would come through, other times it wouldn't. Other times it just felt a little fake, the things that she was saying. So I think the voiceovers could have been done
I did feel like the writing was a little corny, because I feel like it came across very well, but it was always going to be a difficult thing to do because it was all supposed to be in her head.
Exactly.
So she would have to just turn around to the side and talk to Melanie as Wanda, and it looks very awkward in real life.
Yes.
But I think that was the only way they could do it.
Yeah, but still, overall, I give her performance a minus, I would say. Yes.
So we're going to talk about Max Irons, who plays the main character Jared, which is Melanie's love interest.
Everything about her, and I would do anything to get her back. I gotta know, is Melanie in there?
I feel like he did a very good job, but like I said, I don't really remember too much of the book, but I remember Jared having a much more bipolar sense. Like, he was very tough in some situations, and in other situations he was so kind, and I don't think the movie played Jared's character justice. I don't think it gave Jared any depth, but I feel like he did a good job.
I think he did a really good job with Jared, and my problem with Jared that comes through is not with him, it's with them. I don't feel like Jared was in the movie as much as
that's what I'm saying. They didn't give his character the screen time that he needed.
Yeah, and it's like Jared's a lot more involved in that book than he was in the movie, and I feel like he was barely in it. Really,
they tried to make it more about Wanda than they tried to make it more about Melanie and Wanda as a pair. So it was more about Wanda and Ian than it was about Jared and Melanie and Wanda and Jared. And I don't feel like they gave the relationship between Wanda and Jared any screen time whatsoever.
But out of all the characters in the movie, I think that acting-wise, Jared did the best. I think he did.
He's tied in my mind.
Out of the main three.
I still really like
he did the best.
I'll concur with that. I'll concur.
Yeah, and I just wish he was in it more. And I think he did a very subtle Jared, which was good. Which would have been good if he was in the movie more.
So now we're going to talk about Ian, who is the other main character played by Jake Abell.
It's not human. Till we stop acting human.
I think that this is where Jessica and I differ in opinion. I really didn't like this performance that well. Like, it felt kind of scripted. Like, I didn't feel like very many emotions behind what he was saying. I just felt like it felt a little flat for me. He's gorgeous, and I think that but I always thought Ian would like have black hair, blue eyes. I don't know if that's me just misreading it, but just like little lines he would say here and there just felt fake and flat, and I didn't like his performance. It was the worst performance, not the worst, but my least favorite performance out of the three.
See, I really liked Ian. I think he did a very good job, but I think, again, it was the movie's fault that his lines came across so corny because it didn't give their relationship any time to develop. The only time their relationship had to develop was when he saw her working in the fields and saw that he was part of it, and all of a sudden he was in love with her, which isn't how the book is at all. But I can't really blame his acting for that. That's just not enough time to play across their relationship, just like with Jared. So I still feel like he did a really good job, and he made me like Ian a lot.
I really liked Ian in the books. But I think he did a good job. I'm not saying he didn't do a bad job. I just feel like he's inexperienced in acting, and some of the really high emotional scenes just fell flat for me.
The next person that we were going to talk about is Wanda's seeker, Melanie Kruger.
This is war.
She's in a lot of stuff.
Yes, I think if I pick a performance that I like over the whole movie, she blew everybody out of the water.
But she's also a lot more experienced.
That's what I was going to say. I think that just comes from experience, and I feel like next to her, you could really see the inexperience of the other actress, because she did amazing. Her facial expressions, the inner battle that you could see going on with her, you could see within her.
Without her having to turn to the side and say something, you could already tell.
Yeah, you
she
could
had something
see
going
it
on.
in her face, and just like the change in pitch in her voice. I loved her performance. I thought she did amazing.
She did really good. But she also, on top of the experience, I feel like she also had one of the most dynamic characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because while Melanie and Wanda didn't get played up to where it was supposed to be, I feel like the Seeker got the correct amount of screen time. So she was able to show those emotions very easily.
I think that she got more screen time than any of the boys did.
She did. They did more of that relationship than the relationship.
And I feel like
Case.
the Seeker's not in the book that much.
No.
Yeah.
But
But she did awesome.
she did amazing.
A+ job for her.
Okay, I want to talk about Jamie, who is played by Chandler Canterbury. I feel like he did really good.
I think he
He
did
played
awesome.
so sweet. He was so innocent, but then it still showed that toughness. Like you could tell, like in his face, that he wanted to be tough. Like he wanted to be one of the men. But I feel like he did a really good job, and I don't know if this is his first movie or what, but he did a really excellent job for me.
I think he did too. Not just an excellent job children-wise, but adult-wise as well. Like the scene with them and with the glow bugs, which is not in the movie as much as a scene that I really end up liking. That's not in the book. But just his facial expressions when he's talking about his sister, like he did a really good job.
It was very believable.
I think he even out-acted some of the other guys in the movie. Like he did
Certain parts,
awesome.
yeah, he did really good. So the next person we're going to talk about is William Hurt, who plays Jeb.
The reason I wanted to talk about this is because if you guys are a fan of this channel, you know that for a very long time I thought that Uncle Jeb should be played by Sam Elliott. And
too.
that
He was exactly who I pictured right away.
that part would have been phenomenal if he was in it. But this guy, I think, is a good second to Sam Elliott. And
That's what I was going to say. If Sam Elliott couldn't play it, it had to be this guy.
yeah, he did a good job. Would he done as good of a job as Sam Elliott would have done? I don't think so, but he still did very well with the part, and that's only I really want to say about that guy.
Yeah, he played the I'm in charge, but forgiving, like, Connie's uncle that he should have.
Okay, so for the rest of the characters, we're just going to kind of wrap them up in one big bubble, not like nitpick throughout the whole thing. So as for the rest of the characters in the cave, I'm kind of very disappointed. I don't feel like there was a presence of them at all. Like you didn't even really see like extras in the background walking around.
In the book, it all kind of becomes one giant family.
And I think there's like 25 of them
Yeah,
at least.
and you don't get to see that all in the movie.
Yeah.
Even Magnolia, she's only in it for a second. I just felt like
Kyle plays a very huge part in
Huge
this book,
part.
and he's in it twice.
And one of them, he just tries to kill her, and then it's just done.
I know, and he has this whole beautiful ending that goes with it, where he really comes to his senses,
Yeah.
and that's not in the book either.
And that really, or you mean the movie?
The movie,
But
yeah.
that really plays off of the whole humanity thing, about how this guy who hated her so much comes around, and it shows this beauty of humanity that's just missing from the movie.
That was like my whole love of the book was I felt like it was a secret community that nobody knew about, except people who have read the book. And that if you read the book, you got this really nice sense of community, which is something that we really don't get this day and age. And that's one of my favorite aspects of the book, is that you really do feel like you're part of this community, of this group of humans that really do believe that they're the last. And the fact that they're absent in the movie, I think, takes the magic away from the host, which is one of the key things you feel in the book. So I was very disappointed with that.
But again, they did as good of a job as they can, I think. Because of the time allotted, and no one wants to sit there and watch a 4-hour movie.
I know, I just feel like they could have fixed that very easily. Just having some extras walk around in the background, like all the scenes, the up-close scenes between the characters, I feel like they were alone in a room. There should have been extras in the background, yelling and screaming. You saw a couple of them here and there, but
There definitely should have been more in the common areas, because even in the scene where they're trying to extract the souls from the human bodies, they're still only the main characters and Doc. And it's like, there would have been more people. There's not just 6 people in this community and the rest of the people being taken care of. Everyone played a part in the book.
Because Wanda comes out and she says, where is everybody? And Jamie ignores her because they're all supposed to be in the room with Doc. Then you go to the room with Doc and there's only like 5 people in there.
Right, so it wouldn't seem like anybody was missing.
Yeah, so, and I just want to go back to this. The Jared and Wanda's goodbye, since this is a spoiler version now, we now have decided. Jared and Wanda's goodbye, I thought was one of my favorite parts in the book, because he's kind of accepting her in that moment, and Mel kind of accepts her too, because she lets them have that moment together, and it's like, it wasn't in there. You don't feel like Jared had any feelings for Wanda at all. Even Jared kind of felt like, did have mixed emotions for her, but he also respected her because of what she was doing, and you wouldn't even feel the respect.
No,
in
like
the movie.
when in the movie when they actually had Jared kiss Melanie or kiss Wanda, like she's like, kiss me, I'm trying to get Melanie back. That felt like a pivotal scene in the book to me, because he was so tortured between kissing Wanda and kissing Melanie at the same time, and that it just seemed like he was just kissing Wanda to get Melanie back, and it wasn't like that in the book.
I know, poor Wanda. Also just a little side note, I think the way that they did the souls was beautiful, and to the one good point that I really did like between those 2 actors, I don't feel like there was very much chemistry between Ian and Wanda's character, between the actors, but when he's holding the Seeker's soul and he smiles and Wanda sees him smile, it was kind of like a little moment there. I'm like, oh, that was a good moment. That was like the only moment I feel like they really connected.
I wanted to point out that I hate who plays Wanda. I love her in other movies.
What other movie is she in?
She's in that one movie where all 4 of them are like kick butt girls, and like they go into like these fantasies.
Oh yeah. That was a weird movie.
It's a weird movie, but I liked her and I thought she was very good. But I hated her as Wanda. She looked weird with those blue eyes. She was, I don't know.
She's supposed to have blue eyes though.
I know, but she looked weird. She did not look good. And that's really all I have to say about it.
Yeah.
So that is what we thought of the host. We hope you guys liked our opinions. Please let us know what you thought of the movie as well.
Yeah. Oh, overall, this is what I was going to say.
Oh.
I think overall, I give the movie. I rate movies on when you should watch them, whether in the movie theater, pay-per-view.
Me and Josh do that too.
Video.
If you should go see it first, if you should go see it at the cheapie theater where it's only $3, or if you should wait till it comes out.
So I would say this is HBO level. The one where you can see it on primetime TV, but not have to pay for it.
Yeah, I think it's cheapie theater.
Oh, so it's a step above mine. So that's my pay-per-view.
No. I didn't make sure.
Anyways, so that's probably like a B.
I said I was going to give it a
around a B. Hey guys, so this was our video. Please let us know what you thought about the movie, and bye guys. Bye.